Hey everyone, and welcome to another stream. Welcome. It's a bit late night, but we are going to get just to the point. I'm working on an app, a portfolio website uh, for one of the projects that I was working on. So I'm going to be using Tailwind CSS, React, Daisy UI, something along the lines of those. But it's going to be very fast. Just for learn. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you doing? Are you good? Da 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 da. सर जी बहुत लेट हो गए हो हाँ यार आई वाज वर्किंग इन द मॉर्निंग लेकिन अभी उसके बाद जो टाइम होता है वो फैमिली का होता है तो आई यूजुअली स्पेंड विद माय फैमिली तो आई वाज बेसिकली बिजी विद माय किड तो नो प्रॉब्लम यू कैन ऑलवेज फाइंड ऑल ऑफ दिस ऑब्वियसली आफ्टरवर्ड्स एज वेल तो आप बाद में देख सकते हो बट आई डोंट थिंक इसमें कोई इतना ज़्यादा हैपनिंग होने वाला है इट्स गोना बी अ वेरी बेसिक React Next.js stream. I'm starting with the boilerplate, just adding some UI, UX, just making some decisions as I go. So I think for the beginners it might be a bit interesting, but whoever has some experience, they might not find this as interesting, so to say. So that is it. Wait, I need to change this. This doesn't work. Why does this doesn't work? Okay. Okay, look at this. So this does not seem to work. Oh, now it works. Interesting. Good. Oh, yeah. So I'll try to see all the messages and will respond to them as well. If this says thank you for React, I'm struggling with React these days. What are you struggling with specifically? Tell me. Okay, so this is the design that we are looking at, and this is gonna be code. I think I should better keep the VS Code background so you can see your messages as well. And I might also actually just increase the size of it. Is this better? Can you all see your messages? Is this good? Is this better than before? Use state hooks. Interesting. That's a tough one, but we'll look into it when the time comes. Okay. So I want to build the site, but then also move further as well. So we'll look into that when the time comes. Sir, Zoom VS Code. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the suggestion. Is this better? I hope this is better. Okay, awesome. I think I'll go one step down because it felt too much zoomed in. So I'm just gonna go one step down. Okay, so what we are doing right now is we are working on a portfolio website. So we are going to add some links, some pages in Next.js. We might be using some state thingy as well. May not be using them as well. It depends. So we'll look into that. I'm just gonna bring this one a bit down so we can see all of this. So we got get a code, contact us. So far what I've done is I've created a button icon TSX, and this basically can be a link or button which has a click event. And then I'm just rendering the children and the text that comes with the buttons. So I need to replace this guy, and this guy. So I've done this already in, but I'm going to show you an example of view state as well. Conditional rendering का beginners को मसला होता है. Do you also have that problem just for learn, or are you talking about in general, or do you particularly have that issue as well? Because in that case I can give an example if you particularly have the issue. Okay, so we need to go to page.tsx, and inside here I want to change these buttons. with actually just the button with icon. So this becomes really mujhe problem. Okay. So here's an example. Conditional rendering means that in your function, so first of all, React components are just functions. So everything here is React component body, right? Conditional rendering means this function will return a particular HTML based on one particular thing, and in another situation it will return another thing. So conditional rendering means there is a condition and you are returning something based on that condition. So every React component is a function, and every React component has to return an HTML. That is essentially what a React component is. So based on some condition, you can say, no, I'm going to send this HTML. And based on another condition, you can say, by default, I'm going to return this. For example, let's say we have the button with icon component. If the text has the name just for learn, then we return back a greeting message. Otherwise, we return a button, let's say. So if that's the situation, then we can just put a condition here in this function. And this is the whole function body. So here I can essentially say that if the text is just for learn, then I want to return a greeting message, let's say a h2 that says hello just for learn. This is plain HTML and plain text. There's nothing JavaScript in this one. If that's not the case, then we return the actual button. So you can say button, and then here you can render children, for example, if that makes sense. So this basically means that now if I try to run this, and I'm also gonna put text in here as well, then what would happen is in here you can see I get a code on the top header. Let's add that right here. So let's say in the page just above these buttons, we use this button with icon component. Okay, inside here I say that the text is I don't know, submit, and then the content inside here is I don't know, let's leave this as it is. So here now you see this submit button, right? This right here. This is being rendered by default. But if the text is just for learn, then you're going to see it renders the message hello just for learn. So it looks at the text and then it returns based on the condition. If the condition says return h2 based on this situation, then it returns that. Otherwise, this returns it. This is very, very suitable for components like if the state is loading, then I want to return this. Otherwise, that. This one says मेरा मतलब YouTube की एक वीडियो पर क्लिक करने से वही वीडियो प्ले होना. But that's again, instead of then this, returning this, you're returning a thumbnail. Okay. If the state or if the variable says that not playing is not playing or not playing, then you render a thumbnail. If that's not the case, then you render the video. So instead of these situations, I mean, you're being very specific, but the concept remains the same. So you use the same concept to do the same thing. So I hope that makes sense. So conditional rendering means every component returns a particular set of HTML based on certain condition. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So what I wanted to do was, now we have a button that we don't really need in page. So let's remove this guy. And instead of those things, we can go ahead and we can say, so let's replace the first one. The first one is button with icon. And inside here, we can say that the text is contact us. So I'm replacing right now this whole thing. And inside, we can render this SVG. And apart from that, we just need to add a class name. So we can say class name button accent. So I can now remove this button. And now we have the contact us coming actually from the component instead of the other one. Let's do the same thing with this one. In this one, the text becomes our services. This becomes button dark. And the SVG is actually this SVG instead of the other one. So we copy that one. I want to format this because this looks ugly. and this button goes away. So now we have two different buttons. Contact us, services. So right now, if you look at this, if I inspect it, and we are already doing conditional rendering here. If I inspect it, you're going to see that we have a button being rendered. So if I highlight, you can see this is a button. But if I add an href here, any sort of href, then you're going to see something different. So let's say I say, I don't know, https CodewithAhsan.dev. If I add an href here, immediately this button becomes, as you can see, an anchor tag. That is conditional rendering, because in my code, I'm actually checking if there's an href. So if there's an href provided, and I can actually remove these two banks. So if there's an href, then we render the anchor tag with these. But if there's not an href, or href is not provided, then I render a button instead, because there's no link. So I render the button, and it's important to render the right sort of element, instead of just rendering, button instead of href, button instead of anchor, or anchor instead of button. So we need to render the right native HTML as well, if that makes sense. I'm also gonna hide the Pomodoro clock. I'm not sure why we are using that, but let's remove the Pomodoro. There we go. Okay, awesome. Checking one thing really quick. No, I don't see it. Let's see. Voice mode. Want to make sure my settings are correct. Micro. Hello. Is it okay? That sounds visible. And if I change this to okay, can no. Hello.
Hello.
I think
I
there's
think there's
some
some
issue
issue
with
with
the
the
software.
software.
So,
So,
hmm,
hmm,
if I
if I
set
set
this,
this,
and then if I take it out to, I don't know, chat. Let's see. Test. And then if we try to change that, give me 1 second. Okay, never mind. We're gonna keep it like this. Never mind. I was hoping my software could work there, but it doesn't. I mean, if I open this, no, that doesn't work as well. Let's see. Test. Okay. And if I try to open the sound settings, setting, headset, wireless chat, headphone, wireless game, and that works now. That's fine. Okay. Sorry for that. So let's move towards the further implementation. So what I want to do now is having some sort of give me 1 second. some sort of section for reviews, or फिर वहाँ से we'll move forward. All right, let's see. Some eco, but it's fine. I think now it should be fine because I just removed all of this. Okay, so we've gotten our page and we have replaced our components. LP grid items. I think this was the, yeah, I don't want those. I'm gonna remove this. We don't want this file. This comes from the boilerplate. We're gonna see where are this coming from. Nope, don't want those. And we should also not have them right here. So we got only one page at the moment, and we can add more down the line. So what do we want to have up top? First of all, I think in the header we should have, we have item 1 parent. I think instead of parent we can have services. So here we can rather have the parent coming a bit above. By the way, if you don't know, in Windows, if you press Alt, and on MacBook, if you press, I think, Alt and then you press up, you can actually move the content or the selected thing up and down, like one line at a time. But you need to be careful, of course. And this is a really good shortcut to just move things around. It's really nice. So here we go with services. So this should change unless I've broken anything. No, this looks nice. So parent, I think I changed, there are probably two menus, one for mobile and one for non-mobile, if I'm correct. Yeah, so LG hidden. So Tailwind CSS, if this one is hidden, that means that this only gets shown if I'm here. So here it says services, that what I changed. So services, here we can say web applications, and here we can say mobile applications here. I'm thinking if we should also do, by the way, am I audible now? Business analysis. And we got this right. Awesome. Okay, we'll also go through a use state example pretty soon. I'm going to show you in just a bit. Okay, so we got this correctly. Mobile applications development, web applications development. Let's also fix the main one. So this item, this is the one that shows on desktop. Let's move this a bit down. I think essentially we can just copy this whole li services. Oh no, this one uses something different. That's interesting. So this one uses just services or an anchor tag with ul and li. This one uses an li with details and summary. This is super interesting. Services, and let's copy the li then, and we're gonna go in here and change those. So this should reflect right here. So services, look at this, how beautiful this look. This is the best UX. I think I should probably clip it so this goes like in the wall of fame. How do we fix this? Shh. How do we fix this? What do you think? How do we fix this? Any ideas? How do we fix this? And then we also have, I think I should also format the whole file because this looks super ugly. So in this one we have item and item 3. What kind of pages should we have? I'm gonna also look at the IOMX's default side. So we had something like home, about us, services, portfolio, and careers. Okay, we'll look into that. Z index, Mohammad Zubair. Yes, awesome, good. Thank you. So what we should have is z index. So if we look at the header itself, should the z index of header be increased, or should the z index of just this div? The idea is the header should be up top. So what we can do is, instead of first of all this header, this div should be header. And this is what happens when you copy from, I don't know, different websites. We should always use semantic HTML. So we should not have divs all over the places. So this should be a header. And then we should have a nav in this case. So header and then nav. And then inside that we can have different things. So we should have a nav. And inside there we can have a lot of other things as well. So let's format this nicely. And now we have this right here. Now we have some issue, and that is because we have nav bar, blah, blah, blah. The nav bar should actually be not on the header, but on the nav bar. So let's add that. And there we go. Now we have the nice little z index issue. So this one can be z10. Let's keep it to the minimum and see if that fixes it. So if I open this, nope, that doesn't fix it. So this means this hero thingy is probably much more above than the normal one. So we either give this 20, which evaluates to z index 20. Okay, but that means this thingy should be less than this. So if we look at the structure of this, if I can draw this, we have, ooh, what was I calculating? 5,000 divided by 0.20. I think this was me calculating the book and sort of the money it could earn, as far as I remember. Anyways, so if this is the page, then we do have two things right there. We have the header. We have the header.tsx. And then we have also the page.tsx. So this is what we have at the moment. So what we should do is the header should have z index 20. Use 999, 9 million, 9 billion, 9 trillion, 9 quadrillion. No, I use the minimum, always use the minimum amount of z index that you can think of, because then you can always have more on top of it and you're not overriding every single possibility. So using the maximum value is usually very crappy, unless you know for absolute reasons that this is going to be always on the top, or this is going to be the topmost thing ever. So I don't usually use a lot of 9999999, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to layout, and inside the main, this is where I'm going to give the z index. So here I can say class name, and inside here I can give z10. So if I go to now my app, I think it should be nice. Should I also give this a position? I think that's why this is not really working, I think. Ooh, now it's fancy. Where did my header go? So now my header is actually gone. This is the index 20. Where's my summary? So here's my summary. And details open. But summary doesn't have anything at all. It opens, but the summary doesn't show. Is it because of the relative that I just gave it to it? Interesting. Interesting. Sometimes we need to meet the deadlines. Bhai Salam started development 1.5 years ago, did a full-time remote job for 8 months. I solved problems that came in my way on my job, on my side projects. At the end, I find a way to solve them and make things work as expected, but it takes too much time, hours and hours sometimes. Any advice to speed up my process? The main thing is we face different problems every time. Sometimes we need to meet the deadlines. What you need to get good at is estimating the deadlines or estimating your effort, and this will become better and better as you go forward, because yes, you cannot tackle this situation yet that you get stuck into something new. So whenever you're giving estimates, you need to make sure that your actual hours and your estimates have a bit of difference, but you get more time, you don't get less time, if that makes sense. Okay, so ideally you should not, when you see, okay, I estimated something for 8 hours but it took me 12 hours, that means you were off 4 hours. So next time you get the same sort of task, you already say 16 hours, because you know you're going to take 12 hours for that. And then when you say 16, then you have sort of 4 more hours to essentially assess if there's anything that you can fix or if anything new comes up. So always give more hours and people who have experience, they usually understand that. Apart from some managers, not all of them, but some managers do not really understand what it takes, or that we can get stuck into different things. And obviously when the pressure comes from the top hierarchy, then yes, then the bubble bursts everywhere. So yeah, what you have been doing is good, but don't go to the extreme. Don't develop the habit of just fixing things because you have a deadline. Okay, so that's bad. If you just are fixing things just to meet deadlines and the quality is super crap, even if things work but the code is super bad, you're not going to grow yourself. So you need to find a balance. You need to find a balance between, looking for a good way to do it, but then not overdoing it, and also looking for the deadline. For example, this is something what I'm working on right now. I need to do it as fast as possible, but with good quality as well, in order to have good performance, in order to have some other things. For example, button with icon, I could just copy paste the code, but that increases the bundle size. I know, so I created a reusable component instead of doing it all the time. If that makes sense. Shazib says, Assalamu alaikum, bro, big fan. Walaikum assalam, jazakallah khair for the kind words. PK says, hey bro, been taking your advice and been publishing to my Git. Now got 3 projects up there with over 15 stars. Ooh, that's awesome. Can we have a big round of applause for BK? Awesome. That's amazing. That's the key. That is the key. You need to keep pushing. You need to keep committing. You need to have those green dots every single day. That is what will make you stronger, in terms of having a portfolio, in terms of having your confidence. They're amazing. Just keep doing that. It's the best thing that we can do as developers, is creating a lot of projects, pushing to GitHub. That's the best thing. All right, back to the problem. So let's try this out. So let's first try to fix this, and then we'll go into the code to actually see the problem. So we have the header right here. We have the z index set to 20, but it says here, and I love this. You can see that now we have problems, and the Chrome debugger actually tells us if there's a problem with our with a property and why that is. I love the new update from Chrome developer tools. Thank you so much, Google Chrome team. I love this one. So what we need to do is we're gonna look into why that is. So the position static property prevents the index from having an effect. Try setting the position to something other than static. That means that this guy header needs to have something like absolute or relative. If I try to do this with relative, which I think I did, it didn't really like me. But let's try this out. So if I say relative, I think I did it on page. And now there you go. So just giving z index 20 with relative, now you can see that this goes away. So this is amazing. I really like Chrome developer tools helping us out with that. So that means I don't even need to go to the layout and give this z index 10, I assume, but let's try this out. So if this is z20, automatically you can see that this comes up top. So that means I don't even need to give this 20. I can just go with 10, right? Not 0, 10. So now you can see that this works automatically. If I go, I think anything below 1, this is not going to work, but otherwise I think this should be fine. So if I go to 9, you can see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If I go to 0, then that's a problem. Even z index 1 actually works fine. So that's what I wanted to do, but I think Tailwind doesn't have it. But Tailwind also has something called abstract values, if I remember it correctly, or it was abstract units, abstract values, something like that. What you can do is, instead of this, you can press brackets here, and then here you can say z 1 pixel, and I think 1, and I think this also should just work fine. So if I go here, refresh the page, click this here, check this, you should still be able to see that this z-1 evaluates to z index 1, which is arbitrary values, not abstract, arbitrary value. Yeah, exactly, BK. Exactly, arbitrary values. I don't know where I got the abstract thingy from. That sounded weird. Okay, so I don't really want them to be this size. I actually want them to be a bit bigger. I want to see why they have only this sort of width. Maybe we can increase them. I think, and this is the mobile one, right? So this was LG Flex. Let's try to find this guy. And I think we're gonna just make this UL min with I would say min with, I think there's one called fit. I mean, I could have that, or I could also have white space no wrap, as far as I remember. So if I say white space no wrap, no. What is the display of this one? Oh, this is display flex. The li itself is this one. The ul itself is this one. I want to see, because we say fit content. If I say minimum 100%, that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to say a number, and I didn't like that, because if we add that like this, then even if one of them is okay, the second one is not, and that doesn't look good. Does this look better? What do you think? Does this look better than the other one? I don't know. Maybe I liked the other one better, like this one. No, definitely the other one is better. 270 pixels. Simply just do BR, 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 BR. Okay, let's try that. That's not correct. What happened to my HTML? No, that won't do it. I won't do it. It would just add multiple breakpoints to it. It was a joke. Okay. It just says I like the other one. Okay. Zubair says, I got it. I always prefer quality code to solve a certain problem, and the reason I took too much time is I look for better and better solution, and my curiosity never ends. Yes, that's accurate, Zubair, but also please take care of the notion that deadlines are also important. As I said, the realistic way and the best way is to give estimates that have buffer and time for your creativity, plus the possibility of finding the optimal solution. If you can't give good estimates, then you're always going to struggle, and that is the reality. So if you try to take more time and you're concerned, that means the deadlines are pretty close. And when that's the case, then you have to give more priority to the deadlines and to ship stuff rather than optimizing everything. So optimizing is a good thing, but not when you have tough deadlines. I actually had one of my colleagues who was actually let go from the team because he was optimizing too much. So that wasn't pretty, if that makes sense. So let's say 250 pixel. Let's remove this one because we are using the arbitrary value. Oh, it was not 250, it was actually 270. I think it was 269, but in the end, yeah, that's what it looked like. MU says, Salam bhai, I need to know how to write clean, optimized code. You try to see your bundle size, and then you also try to see if you can reuse. So first of all, reuse all the content. You can look into concepts like solid, dry, don't repeat yourself, how to avoid copy pasting, how to couple different, how to not couple different components together. Those are some initial things that you can look at. But I think explaining that in a video in a live stream would be very difficult, but you can definitely look into those, and I hope that helps. So looking here, I think this is still pretty nice. Let's look at the other one. So we looked at services. Let's also add one thing in this one. So we had services. We could also have about us. I think we should also rather have careers, about us. We could also have, I think, even a blog, but I don't think we're gonna use blogs. By the way, in VS Code, if you do Shift Alt and then down, you actually duplicate that stuff, right? And I think in Mac it's Command Option Alt down. So you can quickly duplicate that instead of copy pasting all of it. And then here you can also say careers, about us, and then what was the other one that I talked about? Was blog. And I think we could also go into some sort of like our work or case studies. Hmm. We can have a look. Okay, we can have a look. So maybe we can add something like portfolio. So that means I can add all of these links right here after services, right here. I don't like the fact that we are copy pasting those things together. So I mean, if I have a tough deadline on this one as well. So if I did not have a deadline, I would actually create an array of these with the links and I would just use them. But meh, I don't have them at the moment. So services, careers, about us, portfolio, blog. There we go. Then we should have some sort of newsletter slash, something that can be used at the bottom of the screen. So what I'll do at the moment is, let's try to get this from Tailwind. And I also had something like, I don't know, Tailwind, CSS, UI. Okay, there was something called hyperdev. I'm not sure if you have seen that. But man, I think we can just use Tailwind here or Daisy UI here. So we talked about hero. We talked about drawer, join, group items. What do you mean joining buttons? Stack, da da da. Without stack, 3 stack. Okay. So stacking on top of each other. Okay. Stacked images. Oh, but it looks like you have some sort of. Okay. Got you. Mockup, browser code, window. No, don't need them. What I'm looking for right now is some sort of ready-made UI for reaching out. So I do know there were trending Tailwind kits. Do you have any trending Tailwind UI kits that you have in mind? I know there was a kit called Hyper UI Dev. Tailwind UI is always nice as well. Flowbyte is also really nice as well, but I haven't used this as much. That's weird. We don't have the Hyper UI at all here. I mean, it's not as big at the moment. Well, that's fine. Okay, let's have a look at Tailwind UI kit. Tested components, blah blah blah. With site. I think I already opened this. That's the one. No. Interesting. I think Catalyst is the one that they have pushed now. Components, templates, and let's see. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Interesting. Yeah, Hyper UI. I've seen that one, but yeah, I don't know why it wasn't in the Google search. But anyways, forms, auth forms. No, just forms. So it has 4 components, but I think what I wanted to actually do was something like this. I think this is much nicer. We could start with this. However, I also want to stick with and not make this a spaghetti with all the things that we have. Let's have a look at what forms do we have in here. So chat bubble, collapse, blah blah blah, button drop down modal, swap, theme controller. Since I'm already using Daisy UI, so we got alert, checkbox. Don't we have some sort of cards or? Yeah, we do have card. Buy now, buy now, buy now. Okay, what is the, so we have card and we have then the width of it, and all the cards are here with 50, with 96, sorry. Interesting. But we can obviously tweak this a bit as well. So what I want to do is, let's add a grid, and then we can take it from there. So here what I want to do is having some sort of footer, so we can have both the footer but then also a sort of contact us component. So let's create one. So here we're going to go into components. Let's create a contact us. Let's create that contact us.t. Let's create a React component, and then here we can, now when we I think we're gonna have to make this client side completely, because we also want to have state and all those magical things as well. I've also not used the use form hook, but that might be interesting looking into. But let's see. So, okay, Yash Shirawat, how's it going? There you go. Let's go. Shout out for Yash Sehrawat, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Welcome to the stream. No problem. Alrighty, so let's create two different, I'm not sure if we should go with complete black sort of background with the footer. I think we should, because we have the header sort of similar to that. So maybe we can go with the same, or maybe if not the same, then we can go with a different one. So let's go with the page, and then here instead of BG white, let's go with BG gray, and let's go with maybe 900. So we are talking about too dark, and then we can go with dark BG gray. I think for the same one, the dark also needs to be the same one. And then here when we do MX Auto, Max XL, PX4, all of this I think still remains the same. Then we're talking about grid columns 2. I think this is amazing. Then inside the section we can have two divs. So the first one is going to be on the left and the second one is going to be on the right. So here let's start with actually saying, hey, we can have a heading h2 contact us. So let's see. So here we got contact us, but I don't really want this to be that wide. So we don't want it to, maybe maximum screen MD is much better. So like this. So we are saying the maximum screen for this whole component is just this instead of the whole XL. Yes, that's fine. Yes. So we got context as. Let's also add a P here, or maybe we can also add actually some sort of card as well. So we could say something like partner with us today to grow your business, and this one can be actually in a span, and this one can actually be like this, and we can add a text, class name, text bold, and text accent. So when we do this, we actually get something like this. I don't know, contact us. Let's remove this one. And we also want this to be a bit bigger. So maybe we can say, or actually let's change this to h3. And then also let's add the class name to text bold altogether to everything, so we can remove it from the inside. I don't like the text size, so text 2XL. That makes sense. Why is this whole thingy? Why do we have 3 grids? Okay, because we have LG grid calls 3. We don't want that. We don't want that. We just want 2. Now this makes much more sense. So after this one, let's just below the heading, let's create a card. So let's create a card. We can give this a width 96, just like every other thing that we have seen. BG slate 100, not really, but actually 900. Or can we say base 100? Is that the one? And we can have some sort of card inside that could say something like, I don't know, a message from the CEO. So we could have a, so this should then be, since it's a card, this should be an article. This could be an image. Images are self-closing. What are you talking about? SRC. Here we can have, I don't know, some profile avatar, alt, CEO's picture, and then we can have, and let's keep this into actually a div of flex. We can also have inside this a gap or 4, and then we can also say something like we have a div which is a class name flex column gap 2, and then here we can have an h4. Wait, h4, remove the h5, and here we can say Ahsan Ayaz, for example, and here we can say a p tag that has CEO, and no, you can say founder max. So if we go here, we have something like this. Okay, we're gonna have to see the card itself. By the way, Hifza, I just remembered that you wanted to look into something related to use state. Are you still around to look at that? So we can look at that as well. And let's copy my picture. Copy image, no, copy image. Address. Okay, so we came here, we can just add this right here. Interesting. CEO avatar. Oh, does it also say on avatar? Okay, then you're saying the image. That's fine. We're gonna use that in just a bit. Okay, so now we've got this wide image, and I'm not liking myself in that image at all. So page CSS right here. I'm not sure why I'm coding all of this inside here. Should be coding it on the other side, but that's fine. Okay, then we got the image to have, or actually let's use the image tag from next image. We should also be defining the width and the height, yeah, because it's gonna cry otherwise. So we say the width is gonna be 40, the height is gonna be 40 as well. So we should have also okay, so now we have to also configure the setting in nextconfig.js for unconfigured host. So let's check it. So we got remote patrons, host name, and then port, and then path. So let's go to nextconfig.mjs. We should have images remote patrons, so we don't have any images configuration right here. So let's say images, and here we need to say remote patrons. Actually this is an array with an object. The object says protocol HTTPS host name, avatars this, port, let's keep this guy empty, and then path name. I don't think we need to give the path name, but I think we can just use asterisk. Path name asterisk. Okay, so or we could also have just said this particular account, but that's fine. Is it okay, or is it founder change? Okay, cool. So now I think this should be good. I hope. Let's see. Feels like I need one more coffee. Compiling, 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 compiling. Okay, invalid source prob, blah, 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 blah. But I did configure the host just now, didn't I? This was next images, remote patterns, protocol, host name, port, HTTPS avatars, GitHub user. Okay, let's have a look at the next config that I just changed. So we had with bundle analyzer enable extract mode, and the config is actually with plugins. I don't know. We could have, I don't know. Images, remote patterns, protocol, HTTPS, host name is what I wanted to have. Port is that, path name is that. I don't know. Is it because of the with plugins? Should I do something like config and then this guy? Okay. Assign this to an object. Of course. Cons merged config equals this guy. Export default merged config. Let's see if this still keeps crying or if this fixes it. But I did fix it. What are you talking about? Okay, let's try to run the dev again. So we did say images, remote patterns, protocol, host name, port. Yeah, I restarted the server now. But why didn't it fix itself? No, it says the same thing. So here it says /u/something something. Next image host name is not configured under. Let's have a look at this. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong location. It could be. Here it says something different. It says domains, but that is 2022. When was this one? April. Okay. Well, this is what I used as well. Maybe I made a mistake. So this one has been deprecated in favor of remote patterns, which makes sense. So maybe we can just use, trying to make sure I've not made a mistake as a typo or something. I don't think so. Okay. So in that case, we can just say gitubusercontent.com and HTTPS. then we don't really need anything, I think. And this basically restarts the server as well. So I think it should be fine. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So the thing was, it was because of the path name. So if we remove the path name, then it should be fine. Just making sure that we are not losing our mind. Yeah, exactly. It was that. So now we've got in the image. Let's quickly go here. So we said width 40, height 40, source blah, blah, blah. We also gave it an alt. I think we can also give this a class name of object, not fill, but contain. So it looks like this. And I don't know why don't we have the card styles. So let's see, gonna remove this. Card. Oh, we have card title, card body, card actions, card bordered. Okay, makes perfect sense. So we have card normal. So in this case, we should have card normal. Then we should also have the title and body. So I think the title could actually have, no, I don't know. We'll see. So in this one, I don't still see the styles of the card being applied. Card normal. I think it's because we have the same sort of style. So let's remove this to BG gray, and I don't know, 200. Yeah. So we need to say 8, and then we also need to say card card compact applies defaults SMLG. Okay. So this one, if I don't provide anything at all in the card normal, it should say the same thing, but I also need to then put the card body inside. So then this one is going to be a card body, and there we go. Now we have proper styling coming through it. Okay, and then we also need to say, but I think since we do card body, everything becomes a flex column. Is that it? Yeah, flex direction becomes column, so that's an issue. So we're gonna remove this guy from here, and we're gonna actually move this to flex gap 4, and then we can quickly do this. Okay, and we can also add, does this have a shadow at all? I don't know. Does it have a shadow? Flex direction, blah blah blah, card body, and the card. I don't think it has a shadow. Let's add a shadow XL to this. Shadow XL. Okay, now this is much nicer. We can also give this guy an MB of 16. So we have some sort of spacing around here as well. And now we can look into, and my camera died and nobody told me. Okay. Let's quickly go back and add the battery. Give me 1 second. Okay, and then we can add the form. So we have countdown. Ooh, interesting. I love it. So let's quickly go for the timeline. Interesting. Where is the form? Data input, checkbox, range, select, text area, toggle. Okay, so then we need to go. There's when is your next break? I would love to show you my webpage and inspire me to get. If you want to check it out, no worries. You can share the link. We can check this in just a bit. I just want to not lose my focus and make some progress. but I think we can definitely look at that right after. Shayan Ali, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Shayan? You good? Okay, so this one is file input, text input. So this is the text input that we have. Okay, so let's start with creating a form as well. I'm not sure if we should have, I mean, I think we can just take the one from Hyper UI Dev, to be honest. Let's pick this one, to be honest. Okay, let's pick this one. So let's copy this. And I don't think that this is JSX, but we are going to have a look. And I think we can just move this inside the contact us, to be honest. So let's move it there. It says Tailwind CSS forms is required. Ooh, okay, we'll look into it. Class is gonna be class equals. It's gonna be replaced to class name equals. Did that have a JSX option? View copy JSX. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. They don't have a JSX option. Interesting. Okay, no worries. So we need the Tailwind CSS forms as well. Let's add those. I don't think we have them in the package, so we need to add that as well. Yarn add Tailwind CSS forms. Shayan says, I'm not into web doing iOS dev, but really inspired by your consistency, mashallah. Jazakallah. Thank you. Thanks so much for saying that. Let's also add that into the Tailwind config.js because we Tailwind config.js because we need to add that plugin right here as well. So require Tailwind CSS forms. Once this is installed, we can restart the server. And then we can look into the forms and see if everything works. So we have the contact us right here. We do have this for, and in JSX that has been changed to HTML4. So we need to replace all of those, if I'm correct. HTML4. HTML4. Yeah, thank you. Tab index has been also changed to tab index in JSX. One of the reasons I love JSX so much. Of course, you can't assign it. Rows has been changed to something else, or no? Because it's of course. So you need to now provide the absolute interesting outputs. So tab index. Ooh, what happened to this guy? Tab index should be tab index equals. Thank you. And now these would have to become, unfortunately, these. And what did we have? How many instances do we have this? So this one has to become this one. And now the whole UI is not red. Yay, let's go. And now we can use this contact us component in the homepage. So right here, contact us. Let's see if this renders correctly. Because as maybe on the HTML dropdown on the top right. What do you mean? Are you talking about something related to this project or your project? Or did I miss completely? I think I missed completely the context of this one. Okay, so all these numbers, I don't really want those at all. I'm gonna actually get rid of this. What I need is just this form. So I can copy this and actually just paste this guy. There we go. Look at that. Super cool. It does not look good though. I think I want to go from the layout that I said is supposed to be max medium something something to max large something something. And that should be right here. So I want to go to large at least. This looks more nicely. It says on the top right it said HTML with a little brown where you copy the okay. Because I remembered there was something there. Here it is. GSX. Okay. It's easy to miss, but I don't know. I think if this was a different color, maybe orange or yellow, might be more visible. It just maybe, or maybe I'm blind. It could also be that. Okay, so now that we have this, let's quickly have a look at how this looks. So I think we want the first name or just the name, and then we want the email address. We might also want just the phone number as well. I'm not sure if it's, I don't know if I want validation on this. People might submit wrong phone numbers, but I don't really know why they would do that. That would be super weird and creepy. But yeah, you never know. So let's say name, let's say email, and the email seemed to me like it was stacked, so I don't want that to happen. Let's have one sort of grid. This div. So SM grid calls 2. I don't want this. I want one element per line. This is much nicer. Thank you so much. And then I think just the phone number, we could use some sort of regex to make sure that that works. I don't think we need to have these options. Or we could have these options. These seem really nice. Are they radio inputs? Yes, they are. Yay. I'll see which options do we want, but I think this doesn't look so bad. Okay, we'll see. And here I think we can have, instead of this tiny little button, we can have a bigger button. And we can also, I think, instead of all this magic, we can simply call this button accent, because we are using Daisy UI. And we can also call this button block, I assume. There we go. Send query. Here we can say something like get free, or get a free code. No, estimate. And then we can also have like an SVG, but I think, and I think I can get the SVG from here. But then I would have to use the button component, which is fine. So this one, and this was in contact us, and it was right here. And let's import this guy real quick, and let's move it like this, and we had just get a free estimate. That was the component name. And here we can just remove, but I also wanted to have a button block as well, otherwise it wouldn't look block. Yeah, so button block. There we go. Awesome. One of the things that's good about this button that I'm using in multiple places, if I add animation to just the component, it would work on all the components, so that's good. Was a bit faster. Awesome. Let's have a look at your app. I think I'm at a good position to stop, but I think we can also yeah, I'm gonna work on this further, but it looks like we have a good start. We'll see. So let's have a look at your project. What was it? Interesting. Got ads. Not sure if I missed anything. I saw you looking at the chat. Did you get ads on Twitch? That's weird. I thought that was done usually on uh, by 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 me if I press a button or not. Anyways, so this is the one that you published. Interesting. This is a blog page. It's the only page done so far. It's supposed to be as simple and readable as possible. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna look at, okay, so this is the 100% view. This looks nice. Some of the images are broken, but this looks nice. I think one of the things that you could avoid to make it more readable is not using italics. Yeah, I mean, you can make these a bit smaller, which I think they already are, but not italics. I'm not sure why, but it's maybe my personal opinion, but I don't recall using italics anywhere for a long time. Yeah, okay, then that's good. Um, hmm. It feels a bit weird that the text moves for some reason. I don't know if making them bold also adds some. I mean, I can see that it adds a bit of spacing, but hmm, I don't know. Because one of the things we usually try to avoid in web applications is not to move the text around or a lot of things around. So might be worth it to not. For example, this one looks fine. No, this one also moves. It just moves a bit lesser. This moves a lot because I think there's a lot more content in that. So maybe if it's just, I don't know. I don't think we can make it so that it's also bold, or it stays the same but it still doesn't move stuff. I don't think so. We might have to just make it bold by default or not use bold at all. And you just highlight and change the color rather. Also, you can also have some more spacing in a lot of areas. For example, this area right here, let me turn on my mouse highlight. So this area right here has more space than this area, whereas this should be a bit more because we're talking about two different sections, and here this is just two paragraphs but it's still part of the same section. So I think this should have even, or this should have not as much spacing, so you could actually decrease it to the one that's here and swap the other way around. Yes. And I think the same with this as well, so more spacing in general. uh One more thing could be that since the background is a bit dull, we are also having the this very dull as well, and this sort of blends in, not too much, but sort of blends in because of the blue and the gray. So we might want to have some sort of contrast on this one. You can also look into some online tools to look into like contrast matching of one color on top of other. If this was much darker, then this would sort of come out much more. So it could be, yeah, it could be that you brighten it up a bit. I'm not really sure if this is coming from, it's not coming from here. At least it's probably coming from the article itself. Computed background color. So this one, where is this coming from? Coming from here. Yeah. So this one, instead of this, if this was either background color white, then it's even nicer. Or if you turn this to dark and then you say text align, or text align color white, that also adds up. But then this one, it starts blending with the other one, so it's, yeah, it feels weird a bit if I change this to this. So not that, but maybe just background white might make more sense. Or if the whole background was a bit darker, that could also help. But I know, like, you also had the parallax effect to it as well, so that makes perfect sense. uh Nice, but it looks really nice overall. Do they have hover effect? I would probably put some different color on this one because the hover doesn't really tell a lot on what changed. Maybe a bit brighter color, or maybe give this a bit darker background or a more lighter background to show those. Nice. For some reason we have a scroll bar. I think that's because I was not on the 100%, so I zoomed in a bit. But interesting. This comes in like this is jumping also quite a lot. It would be awesome if we can somehow stop this from jumping as well. Bill, if I go inside portfolio, oh, that's a different one. New website, blogs. Aha, okay. So also this link is not working at the moment, but you can obviously fix that. But looks nice. One thing that I would also recommend is the spacing. So for example, this spacing right here is not the same as this one. So the header and the footer, the content should have the same spacing in that particular regard. And is there also a particular reason why we stop here and are not utilizing? For example, this image could also be aligned with the text right here, and then also here, and then they could also be aligned with the text as well. So the text could stretch to here because there's a lot of space missing from like all of this. So I think this whole container can be a bit shrinked inside the card. So like if this is the spacing, if we agree to this one, then the left should also have the same spacing, and I think this will look really nice then. 30th January 2022. Nice, nice. We da, 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 da. This one gives you to this. Awesome. This looks pretty nice. No problem. Zishan Elias says React project live with my favorite Pinterest by, and no problem at all. 1,000 contributions. Are you already beating me? Should I check? Should I be afraid? Should I be concerned? How many did I do? About 2,000. Okay, so yeah, okay, okay, not too far, but that's fine. I've written this down on Sweden and will get it, So not concerned yet. But I did a lot of commits to the, I think, to even Pulse Checker, but then also to the Angular Cookbook repository. So I think that definitely rose the bar. Oh, we've got 7 stars on it, 8 forks. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know why we only have this number, because I mean, I think I know, because a lot of people just clone the repository and not fork it. But yeah, forking I think would be a much better idea in this particular sense. But it looks like the first one crossed 100 stars. That's nice. It was on 99 when I checked it. Not too bad. Awesome. I'm not really sure if I should. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to, for this one, I think we are at a good start. I need to also discuss the options as well, or think about them. But I think it's a good start. We need to also look into the UI. The form should be working. I'm not sure if I should do the form thingy at the very end once I have all the things done. But we will definitely have a look. Okay, we'll have a look. Thank you again. Going to get this done. No problem at all. Happy to help. Feel free to share your projects anytime. I think I'm gonna check on my wife and get another coffee, even though it's almost sleeping time, but I still want a coffee. Don't tell my wife. Tab Dig 123. Hey, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Come on, let's go. Ali Python Dev. Ali says, brother, look at 2021 contributions. Damn. Are we talking about some competition right here, or no, or what? Contributions. Are we checking contributions today? It's you, Lasse. Lasse, come on. You gotta stop coming in disguise now. 280, 151 contributions in the last year. What the heck? What in the world are you talking about? What? So 2024, 7 contributions. Okay, that makes sense. What? Damn. Oh, this has to be a bot. This cannot be real. This cannot be real. It's like December 28th, we have. Damn, we have 134,000 commits in 3 repository. What the heck? Okay. A.sh. It's a bot. It's a bot. Come on. What? What the hell are you talking about? It's a bot. A commit 3 years ago. So I think so. Two things. One thing, I don't believe this guy really claims with these commits and goes to different jobs and says, hey, look at all my commits. I think that's not happening. So yeah, I'm not concerned. Like, people are talking about AI and AI taking over the jobs. We gotta be scared from this guy. It's like the legend living right there. Ali says, this guy followed me. Followed me to your home, or followed you on social media? Like, you got to be more precise. It's got to be automated stuff. Exactly. That's crazy. When you try to get the number one amount of commits but end up DDoSing GitHub instead. Yes, exactly. Yeah, this guy definitely uses AI. But this guy has a Twitter and an Instagram. Is that also a bot? No, the page is not available, of course. It's not. And the account doesn't exist. Of course. Of course. That makes sense. Followed on GitHub. Ooh, fancy. But my Instagram has been blowing up for the past few days. I think we reached from 8,000 to actually 16,000 recently. Not that the numbers matter anymore. Yeah, about 17 now. It's weird when you try to share content that is that's knowledgeable. Nobody takes you seriously, but as soon as you integrate memes into it, like, everybody's like we gotta give this guy our follow. Meme contents are working. Exactly. Like, it's stupid. I have so much value that I've provided in the past year. Well, the only thing that has worked is entertainment. I mean, yes, that's what gets out there. So yeah, it was an interesting experiment. Like, all these videos that I have previously with actual content, nobody looked at that. For example, these ones, like Stay Focused, look at the numbers right here. Like 2,000, 3,000 views, 1,000 views, 1,000 views. This was meme, so got a bit more. This one was actually valuable. Nobody saw that. This one was a meme. Then this one was the meme that actually blew up. So it got to like 1.4 million recently. Then some 10,000, 14,000 seems to be working. Then this one again got to 1.4 million. Is it repeating? It seems like it's repeating. It's a bug in Instagram. showing me duplicate reels. Yeah, it seems to repeat like 3 times. And then I think after this one, we got this one that is right now running quite a lot, like 1.6 million. And then this is 54,000. So all the content of memes is like, it's super nice. If you've not seen this one, I think I'm proud of this one. I'm not sure if you have seen this one, but let me show you. Let me show you what I've got for you. Desktop audio is gonna be right there. So this is when you commit and a senior is watching. So if you have not seen it, now you will. And things that are seen cannot be unseen anymore. Oh, spoiler. Let's do this again. Again. It's like the perfect Sigma developer. When every senior is like, it's a perfect video. It was nice. I think I also liked this one quite a lot. This was informational. It also contained meme, but I think this had much more value in terms of education or programming. I'm not sure if you have seen this one. Oh, I did not really notice that at the end. I still was showing that overlay. But that's fine. All right. So yeah, that has been happening. That's interesting. But thank you for sharing the most legit account in the history of Git commits. I was baffled by what we had here. Super interesting. Never doing this myself for sure, and not even following as well. Stars 71, repositories 98. How did you get all the stars? Talking, portfolio app, about me, Rust, Angular, HTML. It's interesting. HTML and Rust in the same one, and also Angular. Cool. Awesome. Anyways. Cool. It's like pew, pew, pew. All right. So let's quickly jump to the end. So thank you everyone who joined. I think I've made good progress today. I might stream the same later, but we'll see. If you have any questions, write in the chat and I'll make sure to look into those. I'll also heart those as well. And if there are questions related to programming, then I'll also answer those as well as soon as possible. But I know it's late in Pakistan and also in other countries as well. So good night and take care. As always, happy coding. I'll see you in the next one.